It's time for you to get a new monitor. Yes, you, the gamer, that spent $1,500 on your custom-built PC just to run your high-end graphics card on a $30 monitor that you got from a pawn shop. Yes, this is me speaking from experience. For my $1,500 computer build, I run it on a $30 monitor that still plugs in via a DVI port. But today is the day that we switch, not me personally, but you. Because you are gonna go to Amazon and check out the Acer CB272 27-inch Full HD monitor. But before you do, make sure you keep on watching this comprehensive review. Now, he doesn't know it yet, but he's finding out now. This is actually the new monitor of our editor, Lucas, who currently edits on a MacBook. And this will not only extend his display a ton, but it can also extend your display area a lot. Why? Because it's 27 inches, and for those of you on the metric system, yes, that is 69 centimeters. If you want to purchase such a big monitor, you can do so via the link in the description. As of now, it retails for around $155. Now, this is on the low end for a 27-inch monitor in regards to price, so you may be thinking, wow, this might just be a box full of but from the reviews that I've read, we may have something good on our hands. But let's actually take a look. First off, gotta grab the unboxing knife. And now we dig into it. I'm gonna start cutting and not cut myself. In some of the reviews that I read, there were people that actually experienced these coming DOA, dead on arrival, which I hope is not the case for us. Open up the top. And there's some foam, which I guess is comforting to see. Okay, it's 12 pounds if you're wondering. It wasn't even arm day and I'm struggling. Oh, come on. Oh. Well, now that we've gone through that actual marathon of getting this thing out of the box, let's take a look at what's inside. There's directions, which we don't need. There's a stand. The other part of the stand, power cable, and then for some unforsaken reason, they have included a VGA cable, because we all need more of those. Last but not least, an audio cable. There is built-in speakers, but honestly, I'm not even gonna bother testing that with this monitor because they are 2 watts. And if you're using 2-watt speakers, it's out of necessity, not because you actually want to. Let's begin to actually tear into the different components. So we're not gonna use this because this is a VGA cable, don't need that. Not gonna use that. Let's get this stand together. The stand, from what I've read, is actually a selling point for this monitor because it is a 360 stand and fairly adjustable from what I can tell. You can mount this via a VESA mount, so if you decide to go dual monitors and purchase a VESA mount kit, you can do that with this monitor. Now, since we got the long part out, we can go into the stand itself. What applications would you use this monitor for? Well, it could be a whole host of applications. Lucas will be using this primarily for video editing and whatever tasks he has for his computer science classes at school, yada yada yada. But I think this monitor can do a little more than that. It is only a full HD display, so it does not feature 4K if you're looking for a high resolution monitor, but there are some pretty impressive specs for the price, at least on paper. We'll see if they work in practice, of a 75 Hertz response rate as well as a 1 millisecond refresh rate. By the way, the stand goes together without any hardware, which I think is just awesome that I didn't have to grab a screwdriver for this. So far, seems pretty sturdy and it's not going anywhere. So refresh rate is maybe not what you have always thought it to be. Many people perceive response time to be the actual time between you inputting something on your peripheral to it reacting on the screen itself. But that's not what response time is. Response time actually measures the time that it takes for a pixel to change, which would help impact things like ghosting when fast-moving objects are going across your screen. So This has a 1 millisecond response time. In addition to that, it has AMD FreeSync, which means you can have a variable refresh rate that is coordinated with your AMD graphics card. So, something to think about for you gamers out there. This is more of a lack of my coordination rather than a monitor problem. This is probably the better way to do it. Oh. Wow, okay. One of the complaints that came in the reviews was this is not actually a borderless monitor. So I'm looking right now and I really don't see much of a border, but I guess we'll see when we actually turn it on. Sometimes advertisers can get a little bit funky with portraying the product in a false manner, and we don't want that to happen if you're actually considering buying this monitor. It's time for us to get this powered on though, so we will take a plug. There are 2 power switches on this monitor, which has been a big complaint in the reviews as well, because many people will think, oh shoot, I got a monitor that didn't work, when in reality it was probably them just not having both power buttons turned on, or at least they'll have to look around for both of them to actually figure it out initially. And now we will connect the HDMI cable to the bottom of the monitor. There is a display port, which would be preferred for that FreeSync functionality, as well as a VGA port as well. Alright, so now that we've got it plugged in and my laptop situated, because I only brought a 3-foot HDMI cord, I had to move it sides, but let's turn this on. Oh, that's even really funny. I don't plug it in. Aw, nugget cake. Alright, so now that we've finally got this plugged in, because I didn't have it plugged in, let's actually turn it on now. Oop, here we go. This is an IPS display, which means it will have above average color accuracy. And one of the main concerns of an IPS display are actually the refresh rate. But since this has a 75 Hz refresh rate, it is actually above average compared to most monitors. Anything comparable to this in this size at a refresh rate of around 144 Hz in 4K would run you around the $500 mark, but for $155, it's looking pretty good so far. It is only a 1080p full HD display, as I said earlier, but from what I can tell, it is not too bad. So this is the border that a lot of people were complaining about. It is not too terrible, but it is about the width of my pinky. So if you were looking for a borderless monitor to maybe put and squish together, this might not be the monitor for you. To adjust actual monitor settings, there is a joystick on the back where we can play around, but I am not going to play with those at this time. For brightness, it is only rated at 250 nit, or nits, however you want to say it, which is on the lower end of the spectrum for brightness. So if you're looking for an extremely bright display, this might not be the one for you. One feature that they do mention is the blue light filter, which actually makes it so the display lowers the amount of blue light, which will help you sleep and be easier on the eyes. If you remember back 6 months ago when everyone started working from home, or even a year ago, blue light glasses were all the rage, but this does that for you. In addition to the blue light filter, another great feature of this monitor that was mentioned a lot is the actual viewing angle. I mean, I can see the picture pretty good even at this angle. I think the technical spec is around 175 degrees, both horizontally and vertically, but Lucas, you can correct me if I'm wrong via, you know, the thing that calls me out for doing bad research, but I think I'm right on this one. Let's just play around and maybe look and see if I can notice anything too terrible. I mean, it looks fine. I'm also not the best at judging color. Why? Because I'm slightly colorblind, and ironically enough, so is Lucas. There's that 2-watt speaker coming in handy. That is nothing to take home to your mom and tell her about. But you know, if you're in a pinch, there is a speaker in there. Overall, I'd say for $155, this would be a great monitor for things like school, work, light video editing, and even some gaming if you're on a budget, especially if you don't mind a little bit of a border and also it not being a 4K display. Other than that, this is really just my baseline opinion of the monitor. Lastly, stand. Spring-loaded, up and down, a lot of variability there. And there's a nice hook on the back for cables and such, so you can do some nice cable management. But I'm really a fan of the sleek design of this monitor, minus the large border. So overall, this would be a good monitor for people looking for a monitor for work, light video editing, day-to-day usage, or even some gaming if you're on a budget and don't want to put up the cash for something that's 4K and a higher refresh rate. With the addition of FreeSync and an AMD graphics card, this could fare pretty well in a gaming situation. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop it a like. You can purchase the monitor via the link in the description, and also click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. Again, this monitor is going to our editor Lucas. Go show him some love for all he's done for the channel in the comment section below. We wouldn't be as great of a channel without him putting in the work as an unpaid video editor at this time. But hey, help us grow the dream. Click that subscribe button and we'll catch you in the next one. As always, folks, bird out.